Well, as we speak, the world's most rich and powerful are gathering in the Swiss ski town of Davos for the annual World Economic Forum. They are expected to take part in talks aimed at resolving the world's economic woes. The meeting comes as the crisis in the Eurozone threatens to plunge the region back into a recession and bring the global economy down with it. But as we see one economic summit after another play out, will this forum be any different in being a real force for change? Well, RT's own Lyster joins us now from Davos to bring us the very latest. Hi, Laura. Nice to see you. So leaders from the Eurozone have spoken. How is it playing out over there, and what are some of the highlights?
Well, as you can imagine, Liz, the Eurozone has very much taken the official center stage. After yesterday, we heard from Angela Merkel, which I talked about with you guys, and she said, be patient. We're going to stick to this fiscal integration. We're going to join together for more Europe. That's a solution. Just hang in there. We heard David Cameron come on stage today for his remarks, which drew a very large audience, a very large line to see. And as you would expect, he talked a little trash on the Eurozone and talked a lot of trash on the solutions that leaders have come up with that have been championed by Angela Merkel, saying that in order for a single currency to survive in the case of the euro, the Eurozone needs a number of things, including a central bank, including a way to do some kind of what sounds like he was amounting to euro bonds, a few other things too. And he said it's not that the Eurozone doesn't have all of these, it's that they don't have any of these. So pushing for more money, more of a firewall, more of a solution. We hear that not just from politicians, we hear that from bigwig investors like George Soros, who has been really pushing his plan for the Eurozone, which he's come out with in a book, which leaders in the Eurozone have not adopted. So the Eurozone very much taking center stage. But as you know, Liz, as I've been talking about, that's not the whole forum at all.
And speaking of solutions, this year they were expected to discuss capitalism, and rethinking the system is the theme. But these are the political and business elites that, of course, have benefited from a capitalist system. So are they really interested in talking about income inequality, or is it all for the cameras?
Well, you know, that's the thing. You can put whatever you want on the official agenda, but what people are really going to do and what they're really going to talk about is whatever they're really going to do and talk about. And if that's the status quo that they've benefited from, then that's what you can expect. Yes, we have seen people like Klaus Schwab, who is the founder of the World Economic Forum, talk about the problems with capitalism and how it's outdated in its current form. But that's the same quote I've seen appear over and over again. And in all of the stories, at least that I've seen about the rethinking of capitalism, it's the same quotes over and again, coming from one debate yesterday morning on capitalism and a handful of billionaires talking about income inequality. So while, yes, we have seen some focus on stage in some of the content on the agenda, you have to remember that a handful of billionaires and a couple of people that are concerned about capitalism and these issues are a handful of the 2,600 people who are here, many of which to talk business, to network, and to continue on in the status quo. Many big corporations and big banks that have very much benefited from the current form of Western capitalism. And when you hear really the establishment figures asked about Western capitalism in its current form, they're very much in favor of it. They're not questioning it at all. Yesterday, we heard that from Brian Moynihan, CEO of Bank of America. Today, I heard that from David Cameron, the UK Prime Minister, when he was asked directly that question.
And as these political and economic leaders there, the bigwigs are all there in this one place, some argue that this event is just a bunch of pomp and circumstance rather than generating real solutions to world problems. What is the feeling that you're getting over there?
Well, the feeling I'm getting, because you have to remember, Liz, yes, all of the sessions are going on, but really what I'm seeing is the sidelines and the people that I'm talking to, since Joseph Stiglitz and Brian Moynihan and some of these guys won't talk to me. The guys I'm talking to are the business leaders. I spoke to a governor today. I spoke to a couple of people that are diplomats from Britain. And for all of them, the benefit to this is the business deals, are the meetings, is the networking. Some of them, you know, it's day 2 of Davos and they haven't been to a single session. So for a lot of these people, it is business, and that's really the agenda. Also, everyone kind of has an agenda, even from the bigwigs that are speaking, whether it's investors or CEOs. They have a reason for it. You know, Bill Gates does a press conference, but it's to announce the money he's giving to AIDS. George Soros talks to the press, has a press lunch. He has a new book out. He's very much pushing that with the same kind of rhetoric that he's writing in the Financial Times and saying to everybody at the forum. So everyone kind of has an agenda, Liz.
Right, Lauren. We also hear is what people are on Twitter are saying about Davos. Let's see if it matches up with what you are observing over there. Oliver Willis, he says, elites hobnobbing with elites about elitist things, pretty much what's wrong with the world. And Andrew Keene says, next to two bankers at the bar of a fancy Davos hotel, they are talking about the crisis and smiling. Not quite sure what's so funny. So what do you think, Lauren?
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, Liz, you do get that sense. You don't hear a questioning of the system, a rethinking of things, really. You hear solutions and concerns from the people that have been operating and benefiting from the system that we're currently in. So, and yes, they are elites, and many of them are the global 1%, 70 billionaires, politicians, all of these people. They are very much the global elite. So you can imagine that the solutions they find and the problems they're talking about are very much the ones that pertain to them, and there is kind of that separation. You definitely see that being pressed. You feel like a little bit of a second-class citizen, I have to say.
I'm sorry to hear that, Lauren, but maybe the Occupy movement won't make you feel that way, and I know that they are there. They set up some igloos outside of the event. Would you say that their message and their presence is affecting the dialogue there at all?
You know, I wouldn't say that it's affecting the dialogue, because although we've seen some discussion of Occupy and the movements from, again, Klaus Schwab, who's the founder of the World Economic Forum, I've also heard snickering on the sidelines from businessmen, snickering at the Occupy igloos that are here, saying, oh, they really lack the numbers, huh? What I will say is if you're going to have a protest, igloos are a really good way to go, because I think that Occupy has been mentioned in a lot more of the news stories that I've seen than in pretty much any of the other Occupy protests that I've seen since this movement started in New York and Wall Street. So I think they're getting some bang for their buck with the igloos as far as public awareness. Not sure if it really matters when it comes to the agenda of what's really going on and being discussed at the World Economic Forum.
Well, I guess it's more interesting to talk about igloos than tents. Lauren, thanks for keeping us updated. That was RT's Lauren Lyster, host of the Capital Account.